everybody's trying to be young and be 20 and be tight and be, I've always revered womanhood.
There's a whole population of people who don't want to look like everybody else.
Hello, I'm Kathy Lette. What we've learned from this summit that it's still a man's world. Not only do we not have equal pay, but we're still getting concussion hitting our head on the glass ceiling, and we're supposed to clean it while we're up there. The sexism is innate in the language. Any man who's good at his job is, a leader and a go-getter. A woman with the same qualities is a bitch and a ball breaker. There's sexism in the same hypocrisy when it comes to sex. A man who's sexually active is a love god, a stud muffin, Lothario. A woman with the same sexual appetites is a slut, a tramp, a mole. It's like, men expect us to be so virginal when they go, "Oh, darling, darling, am I the first man to make love to you?" To which the woman replies, "Of course. I don't know why you men keep asking the same silly question."
I love that.
But the women on stage with me today are all leaders in different industries, all at various stages in their careers, and they're challenging sexist stereotypes and kicking ass in their own unique way. You can call them outliners, pioneers, innovators, or women who just don't give a damn about following the rules. But before we... Yeah, exactly, yes!
Amazing. No, we don't need to say anything.
But before we don our psychological scuba gear and dive in deep into the conversation, I'd like to ask each one of these badass women beside me to say who they are and one way in which they're a disruptor in their own industry. Let's start with Joanne.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ann Jenkins. I'm the CEO of AARP. We represent 38 million members across the country. And I try to cause disruption not only at the place of my work, but also across the country and the world in challenging outdated beliefs around aging.
I am Diane von Furstenburg, and I've been disrupting for a long time.
Yes.
I disrupted I became who I wanted to be through a little dress. And through that same little dress, I made a lot of women feel good about who they are. So my legacy is to tell women they can be the woman they want to be.
I'm Tracee Ellis-Ross. I am an actress. I'm on a show called Blackish. I'm a newer disruptor. I think that my disruption and voice really is owning who I am and celebrating and supporting other women and people in finding that. I believe in equality and the freedom of choice, and I find that, discover that, and work through that by pushing up against the status quo, the norms, the expectations, and using a sense of curiosity to find that.
I'm Jeannine Sargent. I'm an entrepreneur and a business leader, and I've spent my career helping technology open doors for people and do things differently. Started innovating, I think, before we called it innovation. And am thrilled to see and have a conversation across so many different industries and genres where I think that technology can enable us to equalize the field and change the game.
I'm Elaine Welteroth, and I'm the editor of Teen Vogue. And, all right. And I, in the words of Shonda Rhimes, I am an FOD. I am first, only, and different in my role. And I have used the platform that I have to help amplify the voices of badass young feminists.
Okay. Well, let's just come back to Joanne. I mean, last year you published a book entitled Disrupting Aging, Living Your Best Life at Every Age, in which you argue that 50 is the new 50. But tell me, why should I let the audience know how old I am? Why can't I just say I'm approaching 50, but I'm not saying from which direction?
Well, I think the biggest opportunity is for us to not let age define who we are.
Yeah.
If you think about, we wouldn't be having this Tina Brown Women in the World if we had decided that at 50 someone has no more value. Yeah. And so I say 50 is not the new 30, not the new 60 is not the new 40. 50 is 50, and it looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yay! But, you know, you say you're on a crusade to change attitudes, but the truth is women suffer from facial prejudice. Yes. We get judged on our looks in a way that men don't. I mean, for women, wordplay is foreplay. How else is Woody Allen still getting laid, right? But, you know, I think aging to women is like kryptonite to Superman. So in every magazine, ad, and TV show and movie, they remind us that women over 50 have passed our amuse-by date. Your AARP pals have put together a clip revealing ageist attitudes in the entertainment industry. Let's just have a look at that.
Great.
Hey, old man! What are you doing here? You're too old for this.
Old.
Old?
Old.
I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was.
Women aren't sexy when they're old.
Getting old sucks.
Face it, lady, we're younger and faster.
To build a really better world sometimes means having to tear the old one down.
You know, at my age, I only have one speed, breakneck.
Face it, girls, I'm older and I have more insurance.
And not that it matters, but I am 50 fucking 2 and I will rock this dress.
Look and learn, boys, because if you ask me, this is what cool is.
Oh,
That's good.
I like that.
I mean, it's not that I think optimism is an eye disease, but do you really think that popular media culture has the power to transform the stereotypes that are seared into our psyche? Because at my age, all my women friends are being traded in for younger models, and I don't see them for a while, and then I suddenly see these breasts coming down the street. You know, they've got their own postcode. They've got this kind of vagina sutured to their lips, you know, which is actually just the collagen they take out of their bottoms and inject here. So they're literally talking out of their arse, you know, and then I see them at the gym and they've waxed all their hair off their bodies. And I mean, I never thought I'd say this, but bring back Bush, right? Yes. So she's killing me. Do you really think that popular culture can change these attitudes?
I absolutely think so, because I think that the minute, if you think about listening to Hillary Clinton yesterday, did at one moment you think she couldn't do her job?
No, she was amazing, yeah.
And at 70 years old, she is still telling us and teaching us every day how valuable women are to the workplace and into everyday life. And so our opportunity is really to get beyond a number and judge people by who they are, not how old they are.
I love that. But let's bring Tracee into the discussion.
Can I talk about age, please?
Sure.
I just turned 70.
Wow.
And I thought about it for 1 year before it happened. And because I like to plan, and I like to plan the kind of woman I want to be, right?
Yeah.
So at every decade, I kind of think, okay, now 17, this is a big deal, right? Because I didn't know about AARP, except that the day I turned 50, they put me on the cover of the magazine. And I had people say, oh, and I said, what? What is it? I mean, I had no idea. I don't understand this thing about age. Maybe it's because I'm European, but when a child is little, oh, you're 3, I thought you were 5. And then you say, you're 10, I thought you were 14. You're 15 already, great. It's always great, great, great. And then all of a sudden, it stops. I don't understand. At what age do you stop being proud of getting older?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, really, I have lived so fully, I should be 150. So, I really should. I've done so much, I continue to do so much. I don't know where I find the energy, but the great thing is that no matter what I do, whether I like it or not, I have one great thing, I am with myself.
Yes.
And it's all about, please, women are so strong, women are so wonderful, women are so powerful. Why the fuck are you insecure?
That's amazing.
Well, I will say that there are a lot of reasons that we're insecure, and many of them are coming from the external forces.
Yes,
and
I know, I'm insecure too.
It takes a village, it takes an internal journey and a relationship with oneself, and it takes a community of people around you, and it is not just being able to disrupt it through the images that we put out, but also there is systemic, cultural, institutional, there are things that support this patriarchal idea that women are simply an object, that are used as wife wallpaper or whatever that might be.
Oven.
Yeah, an oven. We could go on, and so the insecurity is supported by a culture that makes that useful to those that are in power. So it takes us actually being disruptors.
I mean, I know you all know that Tracee is the star of this hit TV show, ABC's Blackish, and you are a very vocal critic of Hollywood's roles for women. But do you think it's still a case that to make it as an actress in Hollywood, you have to be young or fake being young? I mean, I've been to LA, there's no law of gravity. Skin sags upwards, The ankle becomes the knee becomes the navel, the clitoris becomes the chin. That's how you spot a recipient of cosmetic surgery. Look for a woman who's rubbing that part of anatomy a little bit too vigorously.
Can we just listen to you?
No, but why do meaningful roles for women dry up as soon as a woman hits like 30?
I think there's so many different reasons.
Not true.
Some do, some don't. I have always had the same philosophy of you. I've wanted to get older.
That's right.
I thought that the lines on a woman's face were evidence of her story and the life that she had lived. And I got so excited that I have these under my eyes now. Do you understand what I have done to get these? I have lived a life. You know what I mean? And so I think it is part of Hollywood, it's part of our country, it's part of our world, and that's what all of us are doing. We're attempting to say, no. It doesn't matter if you don't like that I'm 40 or you don't like that there's a little wrinkle above my knee. Like, I'm good. Like, I own my cellulite and I own me.
But still, 85% of movies that come out of Hollywood star male protagonists, so it is a big issue that we have to address.
Even on Blackish, the story, in essence, is told through Dre's eyes, through my husband's eyes. That was an interesting dilemma for me, because I'm used to living my own life through my eyes, and the women that I know live their lives through their eyes. So how, in this limited amount of real estate, do I figure out how to create a full woman who has a full life that actually looks like the women that are out in the world?
Yeah, exactly.
And although it's revolutionary for TV, it's not necessarily new for how we live our lives.
Yeah. Well, let's come back to the delicious Diane. Because after having this wildly successful run with your fashion label in the 70s, then you opened a publishing house in Paris in the 80s. You've been a star of your own TV show, House of DVF. You oversee a prestigious awards organisation, and your fashion label is thriving. I mean, do you employ a team of people to sleep, eat, and have sex on your behalf? Because how do you have time? And don't you think she looks seriously underdressed without a plinth? I mean, you're incredible. But what has it meant to you to be a disruptor in so many industries throughout this glittering career of yours?
I hate to say this and always to bring my mother up, but I think I have to. And Tracee, who I know since she's 6 years old, knew my mother. And the reason I am who I am is because I just came back last week. I was in Antwerp. And the reason I was in Antwerp is because I was getting an honorary degree from the University of Antwerp. Now, I never finished college, but I'm getting a lot of honorary degrees. That's what happened with age. And I wasn't quite sure why I was getting a degree. But then I met the person who actually runs the university, and I understood our connection. Prior to be the head of this university, this man built a memorial for the Holocaust in Belgium, because in Belgium, people who got arrested were shipped in a truck and were shipped to this military compound where they stayed until there were 1,000 of them, because they were very efficient. So they wanted to be 1,000, it was more cost efficient. So when there were 1,000, they were shipped into the train and out to Auschwitz. And so he made this wonderful museum, well-researched, beautiful and everything. And on one wall that makes four floors, there are 26,250 pictures, black and white pictures of all the people who went through the camp. Out of the 26,000 of them, 1,200 pictures are in color, because those are the survivors. And amongst the colored picture was my mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so my mother survived. She survived something that she wasn't supposed to survive, but she survived, and she had me. And she always told me that God saved her so that she could give me life. And by giving me life, I gave her life back.
Yeah.
And she always said I was her torch of freedom. So I was born with a torch of freedom in my hand. And that is very heavy to carry. But I have honored my mother, because I fight for freedom, and I fight for the people who want freedom, because freedom is everything. Freedom is health, freedom is wealth, freedom is be able to speak, and that's why we are all here today, and that's why Tina does this incredible conference.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah, thank you, Tina. Yeah.
And I think women are messenger for that. And we have to fight for that. We have to be free. So, I mean, who cares that you're a little wrinkled? It's fine. Those wrinkles are a sign of what you have lived.
Yeah.
Your face is the map of your life. And if you smile, those wrinkles are nice. Yesterday, I met this incredible Jane Goodall. She's 83 years old. I've never seen anyone so more beautiful. Yeah. She had no makeup, because that is what it is. So don't waste your time. Yes, buy the clothes, buy the cosmetics. That's how we make money. But
yeah, in other words, read between our lines, okay? But I want to move on to Elaine now.
Be proud to be who you are, please, because you are strong. Yeah.
I want to move on to Elaine now, because like Diane, you've also never waited to be rescued by a knight in shining Armani. You know, you stand on your own two stilettos. But as editor of Teen Vogue, you're officially the youngest editor ever of a Condé Nast publication. Have you experienced reverse ageism, being put down because of pimples instead of wrinkles?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, I've waited in conference rooms for meetings to start because everyone's waiting for the editor-in-chief to arrive. And I learned really early on in my career that your youth and your age actually isn't always viewed as an advantage, even when it is. In a role like Teen Vogue, being young is a large part of why I can identify with the struggle of young women and help amplify their voices in an authentic way. So it's absolutely an advantage. But early on in my career, first of all, I've always looked a lot older than I was. I was always the person who was like, at 20, people thought I was 35 and asked how many kids I had. And, so I've always had in my career these jobs that were bigger or older than my actual age would suggest. And I've had people who are older than me work on my team. And so early on, I learned people don't always feel comfortable in that kind of an arrangement. And so I kept my age a secret, like this dirty little secret, because I remember one of my first jobs, I was asked by a big corporate executive, female that I really respected, from a large beauty company which shall not be named. She invited me to breakfast, and I was really excited. It was the first time I'd ever had an invitation like that. So I put my best outfit on, and I spoke really eloquently the whole time, and she was asking a series of questions that was very clearly trying to place me. How old am I? And, I did my best, trying to do the karate of, avoiding it. And once she realized, when it was clear, she just asked me, how old are you? And I said, I think I was 23 or 22. In a position of, I started the beauty and style department at Ebony Magazine, so I was viewed as probably at least 30-something. As soon as she heard that, she wrapped up the breakfast, she said she had to go, and then left me with the bill.
Oh. He left you with the bill?
Never again. I'm never letting anyone know how old I am. So from that point forward, even my assistant never knew how old I was. When they were booking my travel, I would be like, turn your head for the date of birth. I'm entering the date of birth, and never will I ever let anyone know how old I am. And so I didn't actually realize.
They probably thought you were 50.
Right? And then I found out later,
there's nothing wrong with 50.
That's what I mean, though. That's what I'm saying.
So the funny story is that I actually, I didn't realize that I was the youngest in history or the second black or anything like that until the headlines betrayed me after I got my promotion. I've kept this secret for 10 years now, and then it's everywhere, the youngest editor in Teen Vogue in Condé Nast history. And I thought, well, at this point, the cat's out of the bag. I better own it at this point, and I have owned it. And at this point, I do think that the world is waking up to the power of young women and the necessity of young voices at the table.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So.
Well, let's move on to Jeannine now. I mean, working mothers juggle so much we could be in the Moscow State Circus. We know that. But as the head of innovation at Flex, you're launching new technologies that will completely transform the lives of women like Elaine so they can thrive at work and in their personal lives. I mean, coming from a hot country, I'd like you to invent me a solar-powered vibrator. But can you tell us more about your current innovations?
So...
It gets hot in New York too, right?
I need to take a minute. Yes, I've worked a long time in the solar industry, but haven't quite innovated that yet. Maybe that's a next to-do. So I think right now, more than ever in the last 2 or 3 decades maybe, it's a really interesting time in terms of being smart and connected and not being overly digitally attached to a smartphone, but if you think about the kinds of things and the kinds of knowledge and information that you now can have at your fingertips, you can integrate it into your accessories and clothing. You can change the way you get information about your medical, either health and wellness, or the state of what's happening with a parent or a child who's sick. I think it really can change the way we think about how we live our life. And I think it can allow us to empower ourselves to live differently and do things differently. And at Flex, we're designing and building these smart and connected solutions. And it really is across all industries and all capabilities right now. So I think that it's really going to free us and allow us to change the way that we can live and work.
Yeah. Well, Tracee, on Blackish, you play a working mum who's striving to balance all the kind of crazy in her life with comedically chaotic results. But let's take a look at this clip from a recent episode where all your responsibility as a mother and a professional collide at once.
They're gonna call. You're gonna make partner.
You're right. You're right. You know what? I deserve this, and I killed it in that meeting. I killed it.
Of course you killed. You're amazing. A doctor, wife, mother of 4, 1 on the way. You should write a book.
Come on.
No, you're a role model, and I was a little afraid to tell you this, but now I see that I really have no reason to be.
Are you having an affair with Dre?
What? No.
Oh.
I'm pregnant.
Oh my. Are you sure you're not having an affair with Dre?
You are just so funny. No, he's not for me, not at all. We're both pregnant. Yes.
Oh, I love it. Well, perfect mums only exist in American sitcoms, and any mum who says she copes all the time is either lying or taking a lot of drugs, I think. But we thought we were going to have it all, but in actual fact, I think working mothers it all. You know, men always say they'd like to help more around the house, but they can't multitask. I mean, I think this is a biological cop-out because no man would have any trouble multitasking at, say, an orgy, would he? No, he'd have no trouble at that particular time. So I don't think so. And I would say to the men in our lives, it's in their interest to help us more around the house because it's scientifically proven that no woman ever shot her husband while he was vacuuming. But you, in this character, you play such a, this busy, professionally empowered woman on television. But what has that taught you about how to be in your own life?
Bo changes her clothes a lot and her hairstyles, which tells me that she has a lot more time than I do, and I think than most women. So she is a TV version of a woman. I think, if anything, I've taught her a couple things. And I think we all have to remember, television is a fantasy version of what a mother is, and not a real one. But I do think that Bo gives you a sense of a lot of what a lot of us are doing. But I don't know that she's taught me much about what it is to be busy. We only see her in snippets of scenes.
Yeah. I think get a toy boy. He'll adore you, not bore you, and do all your chores for you. But moving on, Elaine, in December last year, Teen Vogue made global headlines when you published the piece entitled "Donald Trump is Gaslighting America." And the article suggests that Trump won the presidency by normalising deception and untruths. I wanted to talk to you about Teen Vogue's political coverage. But first, we'll take a look at the clip which shows journalist Lauren Duca defending her article to Fox News correspondent Tucker Carlson.
I just take your words at face value.
So did you read the entire article?
I did. I also read Liam Payne is 100% certain One Direction will continue. Adriana Grande rocked the most epic thigh-high boots at Jingle Bell, and Black China and Rob Kardashian went through the messiest breakup of 2016. Those are your other pieces. But I'm trying to get to what you're writing about Trump taking a break from the thigh-high boots and ask what you mean about him committing psychological abuse on you.
A woman can love Ariana Grande and her thigh-high boots and still
just letting you know that I read you in Teen Vogue as of today.
And those things are not mutually exclusive. Now that you bring up Teen Vogue, we treat young women like they don't have a right to a political conversation.
Dumb
and you can't be, enjoy Kylie Jenner's Instagram and worry about the future of this country. And those things are not mutually exclusive. So you know what? I did write about Ariana Grande, and I did write about the abusive, bigoted,
those pieces are a little smarter than your piece about threatening the sovereignty of a whole religion. All right, I gotta go. You should stick to the thigh-high boots.
Did you hear that?
Oh!
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
My God!
I know.
I'm so glad I didn't see that
Oh,
before.
I know.
That's why we call him fucker. Yeah. So, Elaine.
I know.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's discuss.
It's only the vengeance of the white man with a small penis.
Yeah, I think when it comes to fucker, we're definitely making small talk. But Elaine, just tell me, what should we make of this debate about the teen girls, the thigh-high boots, and the president?
First of all, what we just witnessed was mansplaining and belittling at its finest. And as much as that makes my blood pressure rise instantly just rewatching that, it makes me really proud because she held her own.
That's right.
And what I learned from watching that, because I think we've all probably been in similar situations, she kept talking. She kept talking. They overtalked each other, but she kept talking. And I thought that was a takeaway from me personally as a professional woman. And as far as, she said it best. Lauren Duca she's a freelance writer that was doing the weekend beat for teenvogue.com. She did a story called Trump is Gaslighting America, which became the most viral story in Teen Vogue history, the most read story in Teen Vogue history, because she was able to contextualize and create this perfect word that captured what we were all feeling. And in a piece that was beautifully written and clearly, and her argument was so clearly laid out. But I think why it went viral was not because it was just so brilliant, but also because of the source. Teen Vogue was an unexpected source to be delivering that kind of information. And the reason it was unexpected is because of the way society looks and thinks about young women. They do not think that young women contain multitudes. We've been told for our whole lives that you must choose to be either pretty or smart. And these two things don't really coexist peacefully. And at Teen Vogue, we've made it a concerted effort to be as proud of our beauty and fashion coverage as we are of our political coverage. And I would like to announce that actually, post this dramatic interaction that that happened on the world stage, we are actually launching a political show on teenvogue.com called Thigh High Politics.
Woo! Great!
Hosted by Lauren Duca. And I have
Great.
to shout out Philip Picardi, who's our digital editorial director, and our entire digital team, because they are the true renegades and the progressives and the feminists at Teen Vogue that have been pushing this political message.
Yeah, great.
Very cool.
So, Joanne, we're talking about teen girls here, but as an older woman, I mean, I'm starting to feel constantly judged too by what I wear and what I say. You know, I don't know if there's any mums here, but living with a teenage daughter is like living with the Taliban. You're not allowed to laugh, sing, dance, wear short skirts. So, tell us about your health, wealth, and self approach to growing older.
So I think one of the things that's important to know, that think about a 10-year-old you know. That 10-year-old has a 50% chance of living to be 104. Yeah. That's not tomorrow, that's today. And so as we think about what a 100-year lifespan might look like, we have to really be focused on 3 areas around health, wealth, and self. So it's not just good enough to have health insurance, though I'm very, very proud of the work that AARP did last week to defeat the...
Yeah, yeah.
But we have to start living healthier earlier in life so that we don't live our 70s, 80s, 90s, and into 100s in decline. We have to start saving money earlier in life so that we don't outlive our financial resources, and we cannot just depend on Social Security to be there. Yeah. And then self. How do we start living our lives every day, not waiting till a certain age in order to do something that we wanted to do? And so my little shorthand is health, wealth, and self. Focus on being you and living out your dreams every day.
Yeah, good advice. Well, we're running out of time. So there's a lot of young professional women in the audience today, so I want you to give them, each of you give them the one piece of advice to help them aspire to be the leaders in their profession. We start with Elaine.
Ooh, thought I was going to have 5 people to be able to really think about this. The first thing that comes to mind is inspired by a song from Solange, and it's own your seat at the table. Really, really own your seat at the table.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll keep it brief because I know we have 2 minutes.
I know. Jeannine?
So I would say get engaged and be aware of the technology.
And that doesn't mean put a ring on it.
No, it doesn't mean get married. It means be active. I mean, knowledge is a way for you to be able to make informed decisions and control your own destiny. So get engaged and understand what's going on around and participate.
That question, can women have it all? I think turn it back on yourself. What do you want? Stay curious and really get a network of a small group of women and people around you that can support you, because using your voice and going after your dreams means that there's often a backlash inside, and you need a support group of people, some that are ahead of you, some that are where you are, and some that you can pay it forward and that are behind you in the path. So get a network.
I have 2 things, so I will be fast. The first thing is, remember that the most important relationship in life is the one you have with yourself. If you have that, any other relationship is a plus and not a must. One. And the other thing is, when you wake up in the morning and you're feeling like a loser, which happens to all of us, remember that if you doubt your power, you give power to your doubts.
Right.
Good.
Drop the mic.
Joanne?
I would say to live your life fearlessly, to have the courage to know who you are and the power to help some other woman along the way.
Yeah. Well, what we've learned from this summit, too, is that women are each other's human wonder bras, uplifting, supportive, and making each other look bigger and better. So please thank my panel of human wonder bras right here. Yay!